Hi everyone, my name is Lindsay. I am owner of Wicked Flames Candle Company, where I create and sell my own candles and wax melts. Lately I've been getting a lot of questions regarding the labels that I use for my candles, whether I create and print them myself, and what kind of program I'm using. So I decided to do a tutorial on how I create and print my own labels from home. If you're interested in creating your own labels for products you might sell, let's take a look. So this is the online website I use to create and print my labels for my candles. It's called onlinelabels.com. They can actually print your labels for you, but I just prefer to print mine from home. I like to play around with designs and label sizes, so it just works out better for me. I use the sheet labels, and you can actually shop by size, and there's a ton of sizes. So you do want to know what size jar you're using before picking out your labels. You can filter by size. You can filter by shape. They do circles, squares. They can either do custom, so you can do stars, hearts, triangles. There's just so many different ones to choose from. So if I had chosen the hearts labels, you can then actually choose from a variety of materials as well. So you can do matte for laser or inkjet. You can do the gloss kind, which I use. They have clear gloss if you want clear. They have gold, silver. They have the brown craft, which I know is popular. There's just a ton of those to choose from as well. And then quantities. And the more quantities you buy, the more you save. One thing I should mention with online labels is that to use their designer, the Maestro label designer for free, you would need to purchase the labels from them. What they'll do is they'll send you a code once you make that purchase, and then you can use their designer. So I'm going to click on Start Designing. Another cool thing is that once you purchase labels from them, they all show up in here when you start a new design, and you can pick from the labels that you've already purchased. So I'm going to click on the 2" by 2" square. It's what I use now for my 7-ounce jars. And then you can choose to do one label at a time, or they'll show you the full sheet. I choose the individual label. Here it is. I like to make it a little bit bigger. And then we can start from here. Just a few things to look at. Under File, you can start a new one. You can open up an already saved project. You can save it. You can import a design that you've already created. I can show you that a little bit later. Export, print, view. So you can change the background color right from view. So I can change it right away if I want. I'm going to leave it on white though. Another thing is if you want to see the grid, you can do that. I don't like to use that one. The bleed zone, that's actually helpful. It shows, how far you can really put your text or pictures without it getting cut off on the label. You can do spell check. Another cool thing is you can turn the label canvas 90 degrees. So it's not going to work on this one because it's a square. But if I clicked yes and it was a rectangle, it could take that rectangle vertical to horizontal, depending on how you wanted to print your label. Okay, so we'll start with text. And this is where you would put in any text that you wanted. You click Add Text Box to Design. I am going to put in my company name. So Wicked Flames Candle Co. I'm going to pull this box out a little bit further so that it's all on one line. And then from here, I can change the font that I want. And there's so many fonts to choose from. I believe they just added some new ones. So they do update them. Another thing with the fonts is that there is a lot of places where you can download free fonts from. I like thefont.com. You can download them for free and you can use them to kind of play around with But if you do decide to use that font to sell your item, then you would need to purchase a license from them. Okay, so I'm just going to use what I normally use. And then from here, you can change your font size. You can make it bigger, smaller. I'm just going to leave it at 8. I'll leave it at 7. And then I'm going to align it so it's centered in my label. So you click on Align, you click Center. And when you do that, just make sure the square around your text is even. So you don't want, you know, this box like really long here and short here, because it's not going to center it. That's not centered. But if you make the box so that it's pretty much even on both sides and then align it, you're good. You can change it to the right. You can put it to the bottom. You can do whatever you want. I'm going to center it and leave it at top. Okay. Another thing with the text that you can do is you can make it bold, italic, underline. I'm just going to leave mine plain. Letter spacing. So if I wanted to go up in the letter spacing, you will start to notice that it's getting bigger and bigger because the spacing between the letters. Make it small again. Another thing with line height, you can do that. So if I had 2 lines of words like that, you can change the line height. I can make it bigger, smaller. Just go back to how it was. Okay. I can change my font color. So we can change it to red, or we can change it to yellow. You can change it to orange, whatever you would like to change it to. Another thing that's pretty cool with the text, especially with Halloween coming, is you can do an outline. You can change, this is what creates the outline, this color here. I'm going to change that to green. So you can change the width of the outline. I'm just going to turn the outline off for now though. You can also curve your font, your text, either way. Create a circle. You can also change the opacity on that. So it'll get lighter, darker. And you can do that with photos as well. I don't remember what I did. Okay. Here we go. I'm going to change it to, there we go, back to 8. Going to align it. There. Okay, now if you want to add a shape, you can add a circle, square. Say we're going to add a square. It'll show up like a border. And you can make it bigger, smaller. Say I made it bigger, and if you want to align it with your label, you would want to click center and middle. If you wanted it completely centered, you can actually fill it in so it's not just a border anymore. So you can do that. So you have that. The border of the black, the stroke color, you can change that as well to blue if you wanted it. And you can also change the width to big, small. You can also you can make your corners rounded as much as you want. Then here's the opacity again. You can make it lighter or darker. So there's a lot you can do with that as well. Real quick, if you click the object list, it'll show everything that you put on here. So the rectangle is this, the text is this, and if I wanted to say put it here and lock it so that it didn't move, say I'm playing around on here and I didn't want to move it by mistake, I can lock it so it will not move. So I'm going to unlock it actually. and I'm going to delete this. You can do it from there, or you can right click and delete. So that takes care of shapes. Here's a line that I've actually used quite a bit. There we go. So you can actually make that. Oh, I have it. We need to be able to see it, so I'll change that to red. You can make it bigger, smaller. You can move it around. You can pretty much do anything you want with that. Again, I'm going to delete that. Images. So they have clip art. So if you wanted to, say, do a pumpkin, they have a bunch of pictures for pumpkins. You could use that. Make it smaller. You can rotate it. If you take this green circle here, you can move it around, put it in any position that you want. Undo that one. Do that. But besides their clip art that they have, you can also use your own. So another cool thing with this is once you upload photos, they stay there. This is the background that I use for my fall candles. If you noticed, when I put the background over the text, it covered it up. So all I have to do with that is if I click arrange, I can bring items to the front, send them to the back, bring forward, send backward. If you do front or back, it's completely to the front or completely to the back, especially if you have a lot of layers to your label, like a lot of text, a lot of photos. If you do forward or backward, it just does it back each step. So I'm going to actually bring or send it backwards. And if you notice, it changed on the object list. So now the text is what's up front, and you can see the text again. Now I want to put in my scent. So I'm going to go with Autumn Spice. Actually going to do that. Bring it down here. I'm going to make it a lot larger. I'm going to change the font on that one to now, if you notice, the letters are overlapping, so what would I do in this case? I would change the line height. And there we go. They're no longer touching. Move that over a little bit. Oops, too far. I'm going to change the color to red. And my N. A little bit more, and center it. And then once I have all that, I'm going to actually center the whole box. There we go. So I might even make that a little bit bigger. There we go. Now I have my scent. Okay. So that's images. You can pretty much, either choose what you have or what they have. And let me see what else we have here. Oh, group. Okay. So for group, I'm going to put in a different text here. I'm going to put in soy blend scented candle, and I'm going to put it right under my company name. Right here. Just going to make it a little smaller. down a little. Okay. Okay. So now I have that right under here. Now, yep, I can move that and I can move this. But what if I wanted to move both of them together so that they stayed centered with one another? These two together, I would just make a little box around both of them. Click on group. And now when I move them, they move together. And then you can always ungroup them if you want to. I'm actually going to change the font on this one. I'm actually going to change the font on this one. You can save the ones that you use most often by clicking a little star next to it. There it is. So there we go. Align that. Okay. I'm going to put in one more text here. This will be quick. I usually do a little bit more than just ounces. I'll put in the grams as well. But just for time's sake, I'll just put in 8 ounces. Put it down here. Make it a little bit bigger. There we go. I think I'll move that down a little. So I think that's pretty much how I would want it. I usually have a little bit more information on it. I think we went over pretty much everything. I mean, you can rotate things. You can cut and copy. Okay, so I'm going to quick save it. And then you can name your design. And then I can show you this. Okay, the multi-design. So what the multi-design does is right now you can see that they're all blue. That just means that a full page of labels is going to be printed out. But if you click edit label, you can actually take that away. So if, say you just wanted to print one label, that's all you needed. You can just make all of those blank and just print one. Or you can print the one label that you just created and then add a new design too. And that gets its own color right here. And update it. So now you have another label that you can create. And I'll just do it real quick with this one. I'll just put in here that. Say that's what we were using. So now I click on the first design, second design, and that's what's going to print. Another thing, if you wanted to import a design, I'm going to go with the North Pole. Continue. It'll pull over a design that you already had in there. So, okay. So now if I wanted to print, I would just click on print. Print now. I like to view mine as a PDF. And what is going to print out for you. I use the Canon Pixma, the 8720, which I love. And I can actually put a link for the printer cartridges that I use. I get a discount on them. I can put a link to the store in the description below.
But so
There
that
is a
is,
finished product of what we were working on in the tutorial. And then here is a more advanced label that I have actually created. This is a 2x3 label. So I think that regardless of whatever you're using the label designer for, it's definitely beginner friendly. So I would check onlinelabels.com out for creating your own labels and printing them from home. I hope you found the video to be helpful. If you have any questions, please message me on any of the accounts that I've listed below. And if you liked my video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my new channel. Thank you. Bye, guys.